What's up, everyone? On today's video of bad spending habits, I have another non-running, non-driving Duramax beside me. This one doesn't even have an engine in it, but there's some pretty cool reasons why I bought it, so let's get into it. This is my new to me 2006 LBZ Duramax, and it is an absolute mess. There's parts all over the place, but it has a lot of goodies that come with it. For example, as it sits, you can see there are obviously different wheels and tires. There's a lift, PPE forged tie rods, Bilstein shocks. Transmission is built. There is a converter in the seat too. Redhead steering box, new power steering lines, new brake booster. Long story about the engine, I'll tell that here in a second. Does have a fast lift pump, I believe. Those are not fast filters unless they're really old filters, but I believe that is the fast up there. Oh, they're Wix filters. Inside, the interior is extremely clean. Driver's seat, these are always ripped on all of them. It is fully loaded with a sunroof. This truck's pretty insane. That's the converter. I don't think it's a triple disc. It's a little too shallow for that. But I'll have to make sure, find a part number or something. Comes with an aftermarket trans cooler. All the buttons are in good shape. Obviously I haven't tested to see if anything works, but the headliner's in decent shape. I mean, it's starting to peel down in a few places, but that can be fixed. The back, basically immaculate. And then the sunroof, obviously, that's kind of disgusting and needs cleaned. And the bed here, that's like the entire front end. Cooling stacks in here, the front support bumper. It does not come with a grille and headlights, so I do need to get new one of those. Comes with a 5-inch exhaust. It's 4-inch up to about here. Normally the 5-inch starts like here right after the transmission, but for some reason the 4-inch starts like here on this one. Don't know why, but nice little exhaust tip too. Only bad thing about this truck is obviously rust. Cab corners and rockers. Probably going to put covers on them. We'll see about getting new rockers. The brand of the lift is RCX. I've heard good things about them. It's not rough country or anything that's associated with more cheapness, but oh man, these rockers are basically gone. So the story with the engine was he snapped the crank, stock tune delete LBZ. I'll go show you guys the engine here in a second, but he snaps the crank. When I got the truck, it was left on tune 5, so that probably tells you what he was doing with it. He said he thought tune 5 was like 300 extra horsepower. That's probably not the case. It's really hard to get 300 extra horsepower just to tune on a stock turbo, stock fuel truck. But he also mentioned it might have some bigger injectors in it, so I need to go figure out what those are. So this is a new engine that it comes with. The crank was snapped. I got some of the old pieces over here. But I pulled out one of these injectors, and there are no markings on the solenoid. This one's pretty rusty and nasty. So he put this engine together. It is an LB7 bottom end, LBZ everything else. It's a common swap because the LBZ bottom ends are a little more expensive, but they also snap the cranks a little more than the LB7s, so don't know what that's about. But with a big tune like that, it's bound to happen at some point, especially if you're beating on it. But some of these other injectors, these solenoids have the little serial code on them, so I'll have to pull out the injectors and figure out what they are. If they are 100 overs, like he said he thought they might be, then you can maybe get 300 with a tune, but the turbo is a stock turbo. This is the turbo. He put an aftermarket wheel in it, but kind of hear it make some weird sound, so I'm going to have to take this apart, make sure the case is lined up, because if this case is not torqued correctly, the front can actually hit. You can kind of see it's super duper close on that, so probably going to redo that, just because I don't ever trust other people's work. Nothing against anyone, but never ever trust what other people do. Same thing with the engine. I'm going to get the Callie's engine off the stand, and yes, the shop is extremely full right now. Lean-to is getting boxed in. That's for a different video, because I am going to actually start making more videos now that I have this truck. So all this stuff's going to be out of here. This is going to be the bay for the LBZ, but Callie's engine coming off the stand. I'll give you an update on that truck later. This is going on the stand. Valve covers are coming off. I'll probably take, like, some of this stuff isn't even bolted down yet. I probably am going to leave the heads on. It does have air head studs and grade C head gaskets, which you can kind of see on this side. That is the grade C head gasket. You put them on the right side, so I will trust that. Still probably going to take the valve covers off and check lash, just to be sure. Everything else is just going to get cleaned up, get some paint on it. Not going to go crazy with this one. As far as the plans for the engine bay, all this wiring is going to come out and get rewrapped, just like the Cali's is. They don't even know what's going on here. This is like the engine harness that I think is just tossed in here. I'm going to pull that all the way out. I'm going to clean up the engine bay, paint it, put some heat wrap along the back firewall, make it look pretty, just because the engine's already out, might as well. I'm going to see if I can't get any more information on the transmission. It does not have C3 oilers. Okay. So this transmission was allegedly good for 1,000. C3 oilers are like $200 for the kit. So I don't know how built this actually is, but it does have an aftermarket input shaft. I might pull the transfer case and check the output shaft as well. But aside from being dirty, the paint's pretty clean, honestly. I polished up a few spots. Kind of hard to see because it's been sitting out here and they've been harvesting, but it's got a few little dings. That's like plastic stuff I'll have to get off the paint. The trim, barely starting to bubble right there. I did clean up a spot on the bed over here, a few spots. You can kind of see. I think if I give it a good paint job, it's going to be all right. As for the wheels, they're 20-inch wheels. They look like 12 wides. I assume they're 12 wides. 35-inch tires, so I mean, the tires aren't bad at all. I trust it. And then the underneath, it's rusty. I think I'm going to pull the bed off. I mean, it's not the most horrible thing I've ever seen, but I might go ahead and pull the bed off. It looks like someone did do some coating underneath. Hi, buddy. Shop cat's getting a little old. As for the California LB7, she's kind of been pushed to the back burner. I got the oil pump on the engine and the front cover on. The front end, I got all that stuff done. Whole engine bay is done. Just a little dusty. And I did end up getting some wheels for it. I don't know if I showed those or not. 17x9 bolt holes, same ones that are on the white LB7. I don't even know where that's at right now. I think it's parked up top, but still have a lot to do on this, a lot to add. Next is going to be the whirly kit, injectors, CP3. So it's a lot of the expensive stuff coming up that I want to get everything else done small that I can, so then we can get the expensive stuff ordered. I mean, the it's not hurting anything. CP3 and injectors are what's holding me back right now, though. I like to get that in. I'll get the intake manifolds on. I already set the valves, but you can't put the valve covers on LB7. You have to put the injectors in first, get all that stuff set under there. So after that's done, really, I could put the engine in, but we are doing an S300 kit on this. So the turbo pedestal is going to come up to about here, and the up pipes are going to connect to it. I'd rather not do that in frame, because if you've ever done up pipes on an LB7 in frame, these two bolts on the bottom, they're hard to even see right here. They're just annoying. It's not impossible or anything, but they're just annoying to do. I did order some exhaust pieces for the California, just because tariffs are going up. Prices are going to be going up, and I wanted to get a hold of one of these. This is a rough casting for an LML manifold. So what that means is it's a rough casting. This is like fresh out of the sand cast. You can see there's a little notch right here. You got to grind this out yourself and clean these up. So it's a little more work, but for $80 to have a slightly higher flowing manifold, on the driver's side, because the 01 to 10, they had that little dip in there if you built these before. So I don't care if I have to do it myself, but to save, I think it was like $300 to get the actual GM LML one, I'd rather just port it myself, put some heat wrap on it. So I'll get that done. These allegedly flow 53% more than the stock. I do not want to get a high flow kit because I'm doing an S364 turbo. So the goal is to keep enough drive pressure to spool the turbo efficiently. I don't want any lag at all. I want it to be a very fast, efficient turbo. If I was doing a bigger turbo like S400, I'd go high flow, but I want to keep the exhaust pressure up. I know a lot of people, they just put the high flow on because that's just what you're told to do. It's expensive, so everyone thinks it's good. But for a lot of these smaller, lighter build trucks, like for this has the upgraded up pipes. That's going to be more than enough for a stock turbo and aftermarket wheel. Going to be super efficient. For this, I also have a billet flywheel coming. Not coming. I bought it from one of the guys that works around here. He had it, 150 bucks. It's going to spin the motor faster, more efficiently. I want to reduce load on the motor, so I'm going to be doing electric fans too. Probably not immediately, but the clutch fan, that's not hard to do. We'll do electric fans on it because the clutch fan takes like, I think 40 some horsepower, and you lose a couple miles per gallon because it's putting extra stress on the motor. So if I can get some weight gone in the back, fluid damper on the front, that should take all the shock away from the stock crank. Stock rods are what I'm worried about. So I want to ease the load on the motor. I know spooling a turbo faster probably isn't going to help with that, but if I can just get those rods to last probably up to like 550, 600 horsepower, I'm going to be happy. They typically bend around 1,000 foot-pounds torque, is what the internet was saying. I believe that. I've also seen guys make 700 on these, no problem, back to back to back. Saw a guy make 1,200 on the stock bottom end, actually, so not too worried about it. Just want to get the big, heavy components off the engine and make it a little more efficient. One thing I probably will do is replace the injector hold-down bolts because these are rusty. A lot of people don't know those are torque to yield. I think he's got some aftermarket manifolds on this, actually. Oh, yeah, he has the high flow on that. That's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I want to make a video probably every other week from now on. I have to start a new job for school, go on an 8-week internship, so weekends is going to be all I have. I'm going to get that motor built. I'm going to get the motor set in here. I need to get the chassis prepped, the engine bay prepped, get all that cleaned up, painted. So it's going to be a lot of work, but thank you guys for watching. See you later.